A stainless steel drinking straw is really the only way to assert yourself as somebody who truly cares about planet Earth. To make an even bolder statement, make your own straw. And if that's not bold enough, go out and buy several packages of plastic straws and just throw them away. Don't even use them. Make a statement. I, here and now, am deciding to care. Sure, I'll drink from a plastic cup, but plastic straw? No. This video is not so much about making a straw as it is geometry and material selection. I mean, after all, making a straw is fairly straightforward. You take something that's tubular, literally, make it the size you want it, put one end in liquid, put the other in your mouth, and as Sean Connery would say, never mind. Now, if you are a TL:DW type of person, here are the essential parts of this video. For my straw stock, I went with grade 316L stainless steel, 3/8 outer diameter, 0.277 inches inner diameter, with a relatively thick 0.049 wall thickness, and long enough to make a few straws. Now, there's a link below, but you're gonna have to watch the rest of this video to kind of see why I chose those dimensions for my straws. So cut it to the desired length, tweak the end for good flow, make the edges blunt, and enlarge the lid hole if necessary. The result will be a straw that's stainless steel and does not punch you a new face hole. Now, here's why I chose the straw material that I did. The grade, I chose 316L. I don't really know what I'm doing as far as stainless steel goes, so a little bit of research showed that 304 seems to be common with pre-made straws, or it's not listed, which seems a little bit odd. A little bit more research on other parts of the internet led me to believe that 316 would be appropriate. 316L may be a little bit better. Not that much more of a cost increase, so I went with a 316L. And I feel like I cranked it to 11. Don't know if I really did or not. The dimensions, though, that's where I spent a reasonable amount of time analyzing the straws I like drinking from, because I know of one straw I do not like drinking from. It's this pre-made one. The internal diameter is super narrow, super restrictive. It takes forever to drink, I mean figuratively forever, to drink enough water for the day. But also, it's too tall. And my wife and I quickly realized we are not very accurate when it comes to drinking water, and it began to hurt. So, I took the caliper to the straws that I like, and for water, a straw that's kind of the Brahms straw sort of internal diameter, found a stainless steel tube that has a 0.277 inch internal diameter and a thick wall to make it a 3/8 inch outer diameter. And a thick wall, now that is the key, in my opinion, to a straw that you can use safely. Too thin of a wall, very sharp. Too thick of a wall, heavy, or doesn't fit in the hole, which is the case here. That's the trade-off I chose, is to have a straw that doesn't even fit so I can have one that's safe. So in this case, I'm going to open up the hole a little bit, easily done with the Dremel, to allow the straw to fit in there. I'm going to go out on a limb and think that most people who are using stainless steel straws are also using reusable cups. Let's go ahead and get started. 4 steps. Number 1 would be to cut the straw to length. Number 2, modify the end so that water flows into it a lot easier. Number 3, clean up the rough edges or sharp edges. And number 4, modify the lid if necessary. All of this can be done with a Dremel and a few Dremel sort of bits. But weigh your options and choose what's right for you. So the first order of business is to cut the straw material, because chances are it's going to be far too long for what you'll need right off the bat. So be sure to mark it by putting it in the cup, and take, say, Sharpie, and mark it however tall you would like this thing. In this case, I'm going to go for right about here. Now, number 2, which is to angle the bottom, I'm going to skip for this one. It looks like it's not an issue down there. Adding an angle may actually make matters worse. So it looks like there's enough flow that can get in on the sides there that won't be an issue here. For this cup, I think I'm going to give it a try without any sort of notches or angles. But if your cup has a situation down there that would warrant having a little bit of extra space for water to get in, consider doing that. Now, knocking down that burr, be sure that you use a fine grit of stone so that you don't end up making more scratches than you need. So sandpaper would work as well, just be sure not to grind off too much. If you make that too thin, then you've really negated the whole reason for using a thick-walled piece of stainless steel. I'm going to take a similar green sort of stone, which seems to be finer than pink, and do the inside of that. The burr on the outside is definitely gone. The inside might still have a little bit of one left. All right, that seems to have taken care of it. Now, to make the hole bigger, this one doesn't need much change there, so I'm just going to use a sander bit and then also sort of round over those edges there a little bit with the sander bit. And the last step would be cleaning off these marks from the Sharpie or from the print. Some of these have this printed or stamped inside the steel. There's no way to just wipe it off. But in the case of the one listed below, it was just a black ink that comes off with alcohol. So both the Sharpie and the markings come off. So take it inside, clean it up, use some pipe cleaners, or you get one of those straw cleaners, clean it up, and it's ready to use.